Across the globe, we live in divided societies and cultures. And research indicates that loneliness worldwide is at historic highs. And teenage suicide has doubled in many parts of the world in just the past 5 years. We have over 8 billion souls living on this planet, though for many, you could hardly call it living. Over 800 million people go hungry every day, and nearly that many lack access to clean water. That's roughly 10% of humanity or more without food or clean water. Hard to believe that that could be true here in 2025, but it is. And here in the United States, there are over 130 million Americans with chronic health issues. That's nearly 40% of the population in one of the world's most advanced economies. How can that be? Amazingly, we live in a time of the greatest global prosperity and also in a time of the highest levels of depression and youthful dissatisfaction. What a contradiction. It's a sad state of affairs, to say the least, and admittedly, issues which you or I are not in a position to solve. But we can, individually and collectively, solve our local, community, and workplace issues. We can, again, individually and collectively, make our part of the world a better place for our children and grandchildren to inherit. Unfortunately, today we have too many Karens espousing verbal abuse of people of color, and too many passengers yelling at fellow travelers and airline staff, often using brutal words of hate, and too many cable anchors ridiculing and mocking one another while searching for ratings and revenues. Our social media feeds are full of anger erupting on airplanes, fights between fans at sporting events, and increased instances of road rage, and way too much drama in the workplace. We see too many people blasting others on social media for holding views contrary to their own. And anyone can become a keyboard warrior, spouting hatred and ridicule left and right. It seems like the whole world is shouting, but no one is listening. Again, this is a sad state of affairs, and not the kind of world most of us dream for our children and grandchildren to inherit. Now, if I could offer you a magic pill that would help fix all this, while also lowering your blood pressure, reducing your levels of stress, shrinking the anger you feel, and lessening the drama in your life, and that you could acquire this pill without a prescription or a doctor's visit, could I keep your attention for the next 12 minutes? Instead of a pill, how about I give you a magic word that accomplishes all that? The word is humany, and it's a one-word solution for living a life of well-being and harmony. Humany is a created word combining human, humanity, and harmony to reflect our need to build and live lives of connection, well-being, and harmony. Inside this magical word of humany are 4 potent ingredients: kindness, compassion, peace, and respect. And they're held together by a compound called acceptance. Now, acceptance of others does not equate to agreement. You can accept others without agreeing with them or their choices. A Humony Mindset helps to ensure that all our personal interactions and individual actions are based on kindness, compassion, peace, and respect, and by accepting all others for who they truly are. Humany is a holistic approach to physical, mental, and emotional well-being, enabling us to build and maintain lives of wellness and harmony of our choosing. Now, each of us has the agency to create a better world for our children and grandchildren to inherit. The willingness to use this agency, however, is tied to our respective mindsets. How do we achieve such harmony and connectedness when we live in such divided societies? The answer? We need a collective mindset change. One that moves from what's in it for me to what is the emotional wake I create in my interactions with others. I call this a Humony Mindset. What's a mindset? Well, mindset is your worldview, how you interpret what you see and experience. And the premise of a Humany Mindset is simple: approaching all decisions in life and all interactions with others from a place of kindness, compassion, peace, and respect is the best expression of our agency to create a better world for our children and grandchildren to inherit. Now, how do you and I change the world? One act of kindness, one act of compassion, and with every act of respect for one another. Together, we can restore our humanity one interaction at a time. And by changing our worldviews, and by realizing and thinking every other person on this planet is more like me than different, by thinking every person's life journey is deserving of respect. Here's an example of a changed mindset. Most of us look down on homeless people. We tend to think that it's their fault that they're homeless, that they're lazy, unmotivated, disinclined to work hard. So we refer to those begging at traffic intersections as left lane losers. Do we respect them? Hardly. Here's the mindset change for you. Imagine the fortitude it takes to be homeless, living in the streets, struggling day to day, scrounging for food, shelter, comfort, security. Could you do it? I certainly couldn't. In fact, I'm sure that if life tossed me penniless and unemployed into the streets with no family support, I would take the easy way out with a bottle of sleeping pills. So seeing a homeless person as internally strong is a mindset change, to see them not as left lane losers, but as human beings of resilience and fortitude, doing their best to overcome their struggles, just as you and I have overcome our different and definitely more comfortable struggles. Now, earlier I used the phrase emotional wake. An emotional wake refers to the residual emotional impact that our actions, words, and presence leave on others after an interaction. It's similar to the wake left by a boat in the water, where the boat's passage creates ripples that affect the surrounding environment. In the context of human interactions, the emotional wake is the lingering feeling or mood that remains with people after an interpersonal interaction has ended. The concept of emotional wake underscores the profound impact that we as individuals have on each other's emotional states. Just as a boat's wake can be gentle and smooth or turbulent and disruptive, the emotional wake from interpersonal interactions can range from positive and uplifting to negative and distressing. Positive emotional wakes are created through actions such as kindness, empathy, compassion, respect, encouragement, and support. These interactions leave others feeling valued, understood, and motivated. And the ripple effect of these positive emotions is our responsibility to create. For instance, a compliment or genuine act of listening can foster feelings of happiness and connection in another person, creating a positive ripple effect in the emotional landscape of all those involved in the conversation. Conversely, negative emotional wakes are generated through behaviors such as criticism, neglect, hostility, inattention, insensitivity. These actions can leave others feeling hurt, unimportant, or demoralized. For example, harsh criticism or dismissive behavior can lead to feelings of inadequacy and resentment, causing a shadow over the emotional well-being of those affected. Now, every action has consequences. Some are big, some are small. Most of our actions are unintended consequences because we mindlessly perform them on autopilot. However, the consequences can be exponentially impact humanity once we are intentional about our actions, particularly during interactions with others. Let me explain. Suppose you intentionally help 5 people on a given day, showing them compassion, kindness, respect in your interactions with them. These could be small actions, such as hurrying to open a door for someone laden with too many bags or packages, or offering to share your umbrella with a stranger crossing the street during a downpour, or letting an impatient driver change lanes in front of you, even if this causes you to slow down or tap your brakes. Now, after having an unexpected but pleasant interaction with you, let's say each of these 5 people acts with compassion, kindness, and respect to 5 other people throughout their day. That brings the total to 30 people who have received compassion, kindness, and respect from others. I call this the power of five. And with the power of five concept, this series of actions cascades 3 more times, with each person intentionally interacting in a humany manner with 5 others. The exponential result is an amazing 3,905 people positively impacted as a result of your 5 intentional actions. That's the power of 5. 5 intentional actions of peacefulness, kindness, compassion, and respect, repeated and replicated 5 times by each recipient. Now, of course, not everyone's who receives peacefulness, compassion, kindness, and respect will pass such actions on to 5 more people. But the math is equally astonishing if they do so to only 4 or 3 other people each. Now imagine the power of 5 being implemented by thousands or tens of thousands of us every day. The impact escalates to thousands or multiple tens of thousands, affecting well over 1 million people each and every day. Imagine that. Or, as John Lennon wrote, imagine all the people living in peace. Maybe, like him, I'm a dreamer. But like him, I also know that I'm not the only one. And maybe the whole world cannot live in peace. But our individual actions, multiplied to the power of 5, can help hundreds and thousands of our fellow human beings experience peacefulness, compassion, kindness, respect, and acceptance, and harmony in their lives. Now, you're going to impact people anyway with your actions, your behaviors, your words. Your emotional weight in every interaction will either be unintentional or intentional. So why not make these intentional and positive? Why not give your interactions a foundation of peacefulness, compassion, kindness, respect, acceptance, harmony? What is there to lose? Better yet, what is there to gain? The answers to this question include greater peacefulness, self-respect, and more harmony in your own life. And since interacting with others with a foundation of peacefulness, compassion, kindness, respect, acceptance, and harmony does not cost you anything, these benefits are a fantastic and tremendous return on your investment in living a humany life with a humany mindset. This journey of life is one of shared humanity, not divisive humanity. Now, having lived outside the United States for over 35 years, which is most of my adult life, I've seen that we have more in common with one another than differences, no matter what part of the world we hail from. In the 18th century, William Wordsworth wrote, "The best portion of a good man's life is his nameless, little, unremembered acts of kindness and love." A humany mindset brings Wordsworth's thinking into the 21st century. Interacting with others from a place of kindness, compassion, peace, and respect are the little, nameless, unremembered acts we each can do. Kindness is free, so is compassion, and peace, and respect. So let's pass these along daily, or many times a day. To paraphrase and update Mr. Wordsworth, the best portion of a good person's life is their little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness, compassion, and respect. The world needs more harmony. Our world needs more kindness and understanding. Our world needs less divisiveness and anger. We need more positive examples in society and our workplaces. Those with the humany mindset will be such examples. Adopt a humany mindset, your well-being will increase. You will become more likable. You'll also find that you'll like yourself better, as the 4 key ingredients of humany, kindness, compassion, peace, and respect, become ingrained habits. Your world will become a more harmonized domain, and your children and grandchildren will thank you. To create a better world for our children and grandchildren to inherit, we must become better people, better human beings, humans who exude kindness, compassion, peace with one another, humans who display respect and acceptance for one another, humans who will bring harmony into their own lives, their communities, schools, playgrounds, and workplaces. If you'd like to support and contribute to the force of humany, please get in touch with me. Let's start a Humany movement in your community, your workplace, your school, or other environment. We need support in the areas of funding to help spread the Humany message, influencers to also spread the Humany message, readers, buy a copy of our book, Humany Mindset, Change the World by Changing Your Mindset. Add it to your summer reading list. Or invite me to be a speaker at your next event. Together, we can create a better world for our children and grandchildren to inherit. In closing, to paraphrase my favorite philosopher, Yoda, may the force of Humany be with you. Thank you.